Hi Gemini, Sun, Moon, and Rising. This is going to be your general reading for March 2023. This is a general reading. Please keep that in mind. So the messages may not resonate with everyone. I do suggest that you check back to your moon and rising sign to see what that story is all about. In order to gain any insight into your own personal situation requires a personal reading. You can go to the About box section of my channel. There I have listed the reading packages, the number of questions, and the prices. You would email me at this address up there in the right-hand corner, hiddenlotustarot@gmail.com, and say, hey, Tara, I want the 1-hour reading or the 60-minute reading. And then I'll contact you back and we can set up a time for that, okay? So I have with me the Radiant White deck. Let me show it to you. You guys know it. I have with me the La Vida Sibila for clarification. And then we'll be using the Golden Nostradamus to wrap the reading up. Let me go ahead and turn the camera around slowly. And I'm going to put another rifle and shuffle on these cards. And then we will get started with the reading. It will be 9 cards. For those of you who are new to my channel and my style of reading, I want to welcome you. To those of you who've been with me since 2015, I want to thank you for sticking around. Alrighty then, here we go. 9 cards down. The 9 of Pentacles. I love that card. I think that's one of my favorite cards in the deck. The Page of Cups. Oh, well. The 8 of Cups. Now, this is interesting because this is a timing card. I'll explain that in a moment. The 9 of Swords. Now I have 2 9s. Always important when the numbers repeat themselves. Well, the Moon. Interesting. That's another timing card. The 4 of Pentacles. Last row. Well, the Knight of Wands. Well, those of you who've been with me a while know why I'm chuckling about the Knight of Wands, because he always comes in and just does the most. The 3 of Swords. Well, now, Gemini, this appears to be a romantic relationship situation. Last card down. The 2 of Wands. That is interesting. I have 2 court cards. I have 2 wands, 2 pentacles, 2 cups, 2 swords, and a major arcana right in the center. So this idea of 2s tells me that there's some kind of choice here. And there's a focus on a relationship of some sort. What is the energy of the entire reading? It is the 7 of Wands. Well, the 7 of Wands to me is, there's 2 names that I call it by. The first name that I refer to it is the card that you are in a better position than you realize. But it also represents to me that you got a lot going on. So to me, sometimes it's a lot of irons in the fire kind of a thing. Okay. It is a Wands card. All Wands represent your passion, your focus, your determination, what fires you up and fuels you. The Pentacles represent finances and or the material world, what you're doing, how you are doing it. The Cups represent simply your emotions or the emotional quotient. The Swords, oh, I've got the 2 swords, yeah. I don't know if I said 2 swords. The Swords represent thoughts, belief, perceptions, ideas, and communications. And the Moon, the major arcana cards are your spiritual lessons. in this instance, we're looking at a timing, and I just want to check something right quick, because the Eight of Cups is, yes, well, that makes sense. The Eight of Cups is represents the only eclipsed moon in the deck. So for some of you, this will be the eclipse of November 8, 2022. For others of you, and the reason why I say that, this is past, present, future interplay of the cards. And for others of you, this is going to refer to the eclipse coming up April 20th. Okay, now it is a solar eclipse and not a lunar eclipse. But it's still an eclipsed moon. Okay, it represents an eclipse. And as you can see, it is the sun and the moon there. Okay, now the moon card itself is also a timing. So 28 days. It represents that cycle of 28 days, 27 to 28 days. The moon represents our emotions, psychology. So this could be about fears, hidden things that we don't see that may frighten us. We know that we can see better by the light of the sun than we can by the light of the moon, but we also know that we can see somewhat in a full moon, because it's usually bright outside, but things don't always look the way they actually do if we're viewing them with the sun. So the card speaks about the idea of trying to tame our nature, our psychological and emotional natures. On one side we have the dog, the domestic side, and then we have the wolf, which is our wild side, and then we have that crustacean coming out of the water, and that path between the two towers walking. And so this is the idea of because sometimes a card can represent intuition, psychism, psychic events. So this could be it is about the idea of treading the path, maintaining your balance, even if you can't see exactly where you're going. That can be a frightening thing. And everything else that's going on around this moon card. So over here in the past row, we see, and I only have two court cards. I have the Page of Cups and the Knight of Wands. So over here, whether you are male or female, or you identify with the male or female role, this card simply speaks about the idea that you've been focused and determined on whatever it is you've needed to do, and you have gained some measure of success and achievement from it. The bird there with the hood on talks about taming our wild side. So again, that kind of comes up, okay? And keeping our nose to the grindstone, staying grounded. It can sometimes be an indication of recognition for work well done. It could be about the idea of an inheritance due to you. It can be the idea that some kind of monies or small windfall will be coming to you. A promotion maybe, or a bonus may be coming to you. But it indicates someone who is typically can live by themselves and do well for it. Okay, they are a plucky, kind of a down-to-earth kind of an individual, or at least having that energy where they know what's quote-unquote important, if not finances, then in what it is that they're doing. But something is bothering you. The Nine of Swords, it is the card along with the moon. It is the card of nightmares, of insomnia, of guilty consciences, of fears. things that keep you up at night, things that go bump in the night, okay? The story behind the card is that it is a woman who is bereft because her family has been taken away from her and she has no one to take care of her. Well, that negates that. So but it could be some kind of indication that there's something, well, not kind of, there's an indication that there's something deeply personal here that's been bothering you. And it has to do with either a message, some kind of news, or the return of someone, okay? So for some of you, this could be something that you're dealing with from the November 8th eclipse, but also something you're going to be dealing with, perhaps, if not that, then coming up in April, a few months away. The Knight of Wands represents a kind of person who kind of flies in, no plans, no announcement, no nothing. They rush around, they do a lot of things, but they don't give a lot of thought to whatever it is that they're doing. And I chuckled because in my experience, I have seen this show up when it talks about someone from your past coming back. But always, whenever this card shows up as an individual, that person never sticks around. Okay? They come in and boom, they're gone again, just as fast. Now, the Page of Cups, this is a message too. All pages and knights show up as news and messages. The pages typically are tentative messages. The knights are typically a little bit more fully fledged message. However, the knight's role in a tarot card reading is to move a situation along. Okay? Going back to this Page of Cups, I think some of you received a message out of the blue, unexpected, perhaps around this eclipse, or under a full moon, even perhaps. Definitely during a moon cycle. And whatever this message is, it is either about someone who walked away because they felt they needed to find something more fulfilling for them, whether this is spiritual, whether this is relationship-wise, whether they didn't even know what it was. They just walked away. I think what always strikes me about this particular card is that the individual is walking away just with the clothes on their back, and they're leaving in the dead of night. Okay? A lot of times this card will relate to 8 months. Okay? And it is an 8. So it can be an indication of some type of delay or obstacle or hassle. The Four of Pentacles here. I think this sentence tells me that this thing has been bothering you perhaps for a month, maybe even longer for some of you. But you have arrived at a place where you are okay. The Four of Pentacles is about a firm foundation. In other words, you are okay where you are. Things are all right. Maybe you're conserving. Maybe you're saving. This could be money. This could be time. This could be energy. This could be your emotions. You're hanging on to something. But the card can also be the idea that you're hanging on to something too tightly. I've also seen this card show up when it says that someone is unwilling to share something with you, be it their body, their money, their time, their love, their emotions, their thoughts, whatever. So it could be hanging on to something too tightly. But we see that there's this rush of energy. Okay? Here. It comes to move a situation along. So I think that for some of you, you may be at a place or will find yourself at a place where you can quickly leave this. But for others of you, there's going to be a choice coming back. What do I want to do? I'm going to have to revisit this. This card also says that there's a news or letter that may be coming in that might have to do with a business transaction, but this is not a business transaction as far as I'm concerned. Because here we have the Three of Swords. Now, the Three of Swords also indicates a message coming in. So this whole row is about news and messages coming in. And the Three of Swords says it has a sense of vision. It says that sometimes things hurt us to the quick. This could be an attack on your feeling center. Somebody stabbed you in the heart. They betrayed you. They said something ugly about you. Someone told you that they were thinking ugly things about you. It could be a miscommunication of some sort. Disappointment and sorrow, bitter and frustration. Okay? But it has a sense of vision in that it says that sometimes we have to go through pain short-term pain in order to gain anything good out of it. Okay, and in a way, because this is a 3, it tells me that this energy passes. It's not the 9, which is very difficult to come out of. The 9, the 10, you know, those are some really difficult mental energies to come out of. So this tells me that, you know, someone makes a choice here. Something occurs that's painful, hurtful, but then it rushes and the person leaves suddenly. And I just get the sense that the first thing you need to know about the 7 of Wands over here, the overall energy, it says that you have the strength of will and courage. You are of good character and you can handle this. But I think it also arrives at a time when you're super busy and you just got to jump up and take care of business. And that always comes to me because of the 2 different shoes that the figure's wearing. The traditional meaning is someone being of 2 different minds, of two minds, which is also what this can be about. Okay. Now I have the 2 9s. And one of the meanings, particularly in a romantic situation or just a relationship, is that one of you needs to spend some time alone. Well, it looks as though somebody's already been doing that. Okay. But the other meaning of the 2 9s, let me just grab it here right quick, suggests a house move and or a change of address. Now that always shows up for me here, particularly with that, what do you call it? That snail. The idea you carry your home wherever you go. But it's an indication of a change of address or relocation. Here we see someone walking off. There's water here, so maybe you are leaving a more pastoral or suburban scene to water. Maybe some of you might be trying to go to a city location or locale. But there's something you're not seeing about the situation. And I think there's something that either is the underlying cause of you wanting to leave or relocate, or this could be the idea that the individual who's returning back is coming back for a reason, but the reason is unknown at the time. Okay, so I'm going to turn these 2 cards over. And what does that leave me? 9 of Pentacles, 8 of Cups, 9 of Swords, 4 of Pentacles, 3 of Swords, and the 2 of Wands as it relates to the moon. So let's start with the 9 of Pentacles, and I don't think there is any indication of the 9 of Pentacles with the moon. There is not. 8 of Cups. The 8 of Cups. Nothing about the 8 of Cups with the moon. Now, sometimes the 8 of Cups can be an indication that a new interest is on its way into your life. This could be by way of personal relationships, exciting experience, or new knowledge gained. But it can also be a situation where the only solution is to let go entirely, regardless of how much energy or effort has been put into it. If it is still not working, then the only option is to abandon it. Do not waste any more of your time or effort. 9 of Swords. Nothing about the 9 of Swords. Oh, that's a 7. Sorry. 9 of Swords. Let's see. Again, nothing about the 9 of Swords. It can tell of an uncomfortable set of, an unfortunate set of circumstances and or inconsolable unhappiness and deep personal loss. It asks you to look at what you have in your life and stop feeling negative or sorry for yourself. It is a 9, so there's a focus on a completion of events. It can indicate despair and anxiety. It implies that this may be an introspective time for you. It tells of a preoccupation with past experiences, particularly those of a painful or hurtful nature. The Four of Pentacles. With the Moon, it is an indication that there may be deceptive undercurrents and hidden things you are not aware of at this time. That's exactly what I was telling you. Investigate any propositions thoroughly prior to committing to anything. Check all details. Oh, well, there's a devil underneath there too. Check all details and ensure that you feel 100% positive before commencing. It indicates that there are many undercurrents within a situation, and you are to investigate all offers and propositions. Do not sign any legal and or binding documents until all is clear and upfront. Well, that's quite interesting. Three of Swords. Tells of a painful or difficult issue which must be dealt with quickly, as some realities need to be faced and important changes made. And that's what the twos are about. Twos are about choices, options, dualities, crossroads. A tough decision is what this is. It says that realities need to be faced and important changes made. In the short term, this may cause disharmony and feelings of loss. But long term, you may find that the new changes are exactly what was required, much like a blessing in disguise. It foretells of family arguments and disputes, and may even lead to separations. Well, the Two of Wands. The card can also sometimes indicate conflict and aggression and the escalation of problems. Okay? The Two of Wands. Nothing about the Two of Wands except this. It is a gestational period. It indicates that some kind of crossroads has been reached or will be reached, and that a choice or decision is called for. It suggests that this is the right time for planning and assessment. There's a focus on relationships with others. The card indicates a need for independence and solitude. Because this character, and this is a person. So, we see the devil underneath. Now, the devil is not always a bad thing. It can sometimes be an indication of something large looming that we may think is dreadful or causes us fear. But it can also be the idea of obsession, of trying to hold on to something or someone even when it is not in our own best interest, or someone trying to do those things to us. It deals with addictions. It's power and control issues. It is about commitment, chaining yourself to something or someone or something. Okay? But it's not always a bad thing, because the card says that you are never bound in such a way that you cannot hope to be free. Okay? I don't know if I said that right, but I think you get it. So here's what I'm going to do. First thing I want to do is I want to look at and I think what this is you may recognize that there's something about the situation you don't know. And that could be why, you decided to hightail it out of Dodge. But the energy of this future row is reading this way. Something coming from the future into the present and into the past. So this very well could be the idea that it is something you're going to have to do over again. All of these circles, it's a circular kind of a thing here. Okay, so let's take a look at this Knight of Wands. But there's something here that has not yet been revealed that you do not see. The most important man in your life, the Gran Signore, the Letterato, which can somewhat describe the individual's personality, which would be precise, logical, rational, rather cold, not a very demonstrative individual. Could also have an extremely high IQ, may have something to do with be an artist of some kind, someone who's even a scientist even, okay? And the Vecchia Signora, doing something the same old way, traditional, okay? That's what this card is saying to me. Now, but sometimes that card, the Vecchia Signora, can be the idea that, you know, you need to shake things up. Things don't need to be done the old kind of, being stuck in the past and a refusal to see that things need to change. The Moon. The desperate jealousy. The Alegria. The Domestico. Very interesting card. The desperate jealousy is just that. It could be someone who thinks that they've lost all hope. It can indicate types of self-harm. It talks about substance abuse. If this is a situation where there's it's a romantic relationship, it can be someone who's really consumed by jealousy. Falling, however, for me with the Alegria card is an indication that the person likes to have a good time. So this could be the idea that they enjoy drinking with their buddies. They like being social. But the card also is a warning that if you're meeting someone new in a place like this, you might want to keep them at arm's length until you can get to know them better, because more than likely they're going to be a fair weather friend. And that's kind of backed up by the Domestico card. He's kind of a helper card, because that's what domestics do. They help, but he's also the man returning. And the other name of this card is the Collaborator. Is he doing it for me, or is he doing it for himself? Or is he working with someone else? The Unknown Hidden Currents. And finally, I'm going to take a look at this Eight of Cups. The Morte. Well, there it is. Okay, the cosmic scissors falling on the card of walking away. This card says that a Rubicon has been crossed. Someone has said something or done something that can't be taken back. They can't apologize for it, and it is a done deal. There is no coming back from the Morte card. So therefore, the situation will never return to the way that it was before. But if this is a situation which has been rife with pain and affront and manipulation, then that can be a good thing, because there's a rebirth on the other side of that death. Is that the Alegria, the happiness of the heart? Now, the Sibilas are quite specific in the two types of happiness. This is with friends, okay, and family. And this is personal relationships. She's the bride, he's the groom, and he's the brother of the groom. So this card portends happiness, happy events, whatnot, but that's the end of that happy event. There is no more happiness of the heart with this. This is why somebody walks away. Finally, the Prigione. Now, this card is like the Nine of Swords. And so falling back now on with this Devil card, in a sense, what the card is telling me is that there's either you or someone that you are dealing with can't let go. They can't figure out what to do about themselves or the situation, and they're having difficulty letting go, even though we see that the relationship is over, the situation is over, it's done, it's a done deal. And the Prigione speaks about someone not having the resources to figure out how to get themselves out of the situation or to make it better. But it gives you an indication of a timing. There's the unbarred window, a window of opportunity. We know that we're talking about either a moon, 28 days, or the eclipsed moon. Okay? There are 3 steps to be taken. These are the 3 necessary actions to figure out what it is you got to do. There's a banister over here for support to help you. And then there's the vase right there that indicates the wisdom learned. And eventually there's a way out, but we don't see that yet. So, there's a decision coming up. And some of you will be revisiting a situation. So, right now, you don't see, and there's more to this story. I think that the individual coming back or the situation that you're going to have to deal with, there's more to this story than meets the eye. And so when you're presented with it, there are going to be things that you don't know. So do be cautious, do be careful. Formulate your question for the Golden Nostradamus. Oh, there's the card. See, flew out. It is the fish, I believe. Okay. And there's 3 of them. And this whole idea of swimming back and forth. And sometimes the fish, again, can be an indication of someone who's not only highly emotional, but can also, particularly in the Lenormands, because that's the first thing that came up to me, it could be an indication of someone who has a substance abuse problem. That's not what it means here, but that just came across to me. You know, because sometimes love can be a drug to people. The fish. Once you have let the gossip fly, these tales can never again belie. Silence will bring counsel and will not expose you to the attacks of others. Stop often and think. Stand still and reflect quietly. This will lead to the discovery of the right path to be taken. And what the card is saying is you might have to take that trip without actually knowing that path, without actually knowing what's going to happen as you travel down it or where it's going to lead you. That's what I have for you, Gemini, for March 2023. I do hope that message helped. Again, if you need a reading, you can just contact me at the address there. Do go to the About box section of the channel to see the reading packages. And until next time, be well.